I had the same nightmare every day for a week, Monday to Sunday. It would start with me in a temple full of demons. They were all behind bars as if it were a prison. Anyway, it would start with me in a state of adrenaline-induced panic running through the said temple until I made it out. Every time, it would open up into a field of clovers with the woods being at the other end. I would sprint across it every time, trying to get to the woods as quickly as possible, and every time I would get right at the end of the field, I would look to my right, and there would be a wraith-like creature screeching at me. It was ear-piercing. I would wake up with my ears ringing and my heart beating out of my chest. Again, I had this dream every day for a week. But here's the thing. Every day the wraith-like creature would get closer. I'd say a few yards closer every time. By Saturday, it had gotten so loud that I couldn't hear for the first hour I was awake. Then came Sunday. The nightmare proceeded as it continued, but when I looked to my right, it wasn't there. Somehow it was so much scarier, but after realizing it wasn't there, I turned my head back forward to go into the breach of the woods, and there it was, directly in front of me, screaming, but also dead silent. It grabbed me, and I woke up screaming in a cold sweat. I couldn't hear for hours, and my ears were ringing for days. I'll never know how to make it make sense. I was 19 when this happened. I'm 26 now, almost 27. I've never had a nightmare ever since, but I remember it probably more vividly than anything else in my head. This is a story based on what my brother said last night as of Sunday, April 27th, 2024. My second older brother claims to have seen something when we first moved into a house a year. After I was born somewhere around 2010, I would say anyway, according to my brother. He said he was told by someone that our house used to be owned by a lady who practiced witchcraft, and keep in mind we were planning on watching a horror movie with my dad last night. We were going to watch a movie, and it's a coincidence that my brother picked out The Conjuring 3, which he and my dad both saw in the theater when it came out. Anyway, back to the story when we first moved into our house at 204 East Center Street in Lexington, Oklahoma. I don't remember much of when we first moved in, but my brother says we slept on a futon for a while one night he woke up in the middle of the night and saw a man with horns hovering over him, and he wanted to say, "Leave him alone." But he couldn't, and he couldn't speak or move. He was thinking about saying something to us, but he thought he was hallucinating or seeing things. Then somewhere around 2016, we were flooded out of our home, and we stayed at the church food pantry my mom went to frequently, and then somewhere around 2017, we moved to a trailer park and lived at lot number 118. Now, when we moved there, my brother slept on top bunk of our bunk bed one night. He was trying to put his blanket by the side railing to get fresh air ventilating, but he recalled seeing the same man from 204 looking at him from under my bed. The same thing happened. He couldn't move or speak. He eventually slept on the bottom bunk, and now at our new house we've lived in for 5 years after being evicted in 2019. From 118, he's been sleeping on the bottom bunk of our new bunk bed. He goes to college and visits from time to time or stays the weekend, so we kept a bunk bed, and we still have it. But I've recently started to sleep on the bottom bunk when he's not here, he said last night. He was terrified, and it was one most terrifying moments he's experienced. I will post the other experience he had soon. Until then, that's all.